What is going on, all you wonderful A-plusers out there? It is I, Stuart, here, once again with another review for you, this time on My Adventures with Superman, episode number 4. Or number 3. Yeah, no, we're on number 3 right now. We haven't gotten to 4 yet. Sorry in advance for the frame rate. If there is an issue with the frame rate, I'm recording on OBS, and right now on my screen, it's showing a lot of like just a really big frame rate issue. I can't tell if that's actually going to be in the video itself, but it's never done this to me before, so I'm assuming it probably will be. Again, I apologize, but what are you going to do? So anyways, to start off this review, this episode, it starts with two members of Intergang, Kyle and Roundhouse, who basically have advanced weapons, probably from the same, military from the previous episode that were stolen, and using these dangerous weapons, they break their sister, Siban. I think that's what her. It's like Siobhan or something like that. They break her out of prison. Now in the comic books, I know that she's supposed to be Banshee, and I actually don't think she has any relationship with any, I don't think she's related to either Kyle or Roundhouse in the comic books. The thing I know about Roundhouse is that he's supposed to be a clone of one of Moxley's henchman, if I'm not mistaken, so he's supposed to be a clone of him. And then Kyle, I have no idea who he's supposed to be from the comic books. He probably is someone, but no one that I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah, those are our basically villains of the week in this episode. They break out of prison, and meanwhile at the Daily Planet, Perry White assigns Cat Grant, Steve Lombard, and Ronnie Troup to interview Superman, and basically they take the case completely away from Lois. Mostly because she's, just an intern. So, the three of them end up stealing the whole murder board that they had for Superman and kind of use it for their own research. And they're very smug about it. Definitely, they definitely have a very aggressive way about themselves, like with treating Clark, Lois, and Jimmy like they are kids, pretty much. So this, of course, pisses off Lois, and Clark does want to help, but he's too afraid to get an interview with Lois because he knows how persuasive Lois can be and how Lois could, potentially trick him into giving away secrets that he doesn't want to, of course, give away, such as his secret identity. Now Clark does try to get her mind off of Superman by suggesting that they go after other people, for example, the three people that just broke out of prison. So they end up investigating the prison break, and this leads them to discover what their big plan is going to be after they've broken their sister out of prison, and that is a bank heist. They discover it before anyone else does, so they of course try to call the authorities and try to, prevent it from happening, but it's too late. The bank heist is already underway, and one of the weapons that they have is a very deadly, freezing kind of ray, like a really big freeze ray, which they pretty much use to basically use that to rob the bank. And it's here that Superman unlocks a new power in order to stop them. That's right, he finally unlocks his heat vision. Now for a minute I thought this was actually going to be the introduction of the cold breath, but obviously it's kind of, you can fight fire with fire, but you can't really fight ice with ice. All you would do is really just create more ice, so it makes sense that the heat vision was his first power to get unlocked before the ice breath. But he uses that to basically stop the main villains of the week, and the villains of the week are then captured by, I believe, the same people that captured Livewire in the previous episode. So after that kind of whole thing goes down, Lois is still a little upset that she can't get that interview with Superman, but then Superman comes around and eventually does decide to give Lois that interview, but doesn't really tell her much other than he's still trying to piece things together himself about who he is. He actually, is almost just as confused about his origins as everyone else, but he does assure Lois that he, means no harm, that he's there to do good for the city of Metropolis. And it ends on a really sweet note at first, and then of course Clark comes up pretending that, it's the cliche, whoa, what happened? Did I miss Superman again? That type of thing. So Clark goes to talk to Lois, and Lois then reveals that she believes that Superman completely lied to her, and that's the note we end on. It's definitely a pretty funny note to end the episode. Overall, a very entertaining episode of the week. Not really much happens, honestly. I mean, it is cool to finally have that introduction, or getting Lois to learn a little more about Superman with that interview. So I did really like that. But besides that, not too much in terms of story really moved forward with the characters. It was cool seeing those other characters at the Daily Planet. I don't remember if we were already introduced to them before, but this is undoubtedly, of course, the first time we hear them have speaking lines, I believe. So that was really cool. Overall, solid episode, not bad. Just not too much really stood out to me. I guess one thing that did kind of stand out is that it really felt like Jimmy Olsen didn't really have much to do in this episode. And I get that it's like a 22-minute, show. It's not like, the TV shows that we usually review on the channel that are usually 40 minutes long at the very least. So there's very limited time of what you can really move forward. But just something I kind of noticed, not a complaint or anything. I mean, if it happens every episode, yes, it's going to be a complaint, but just something I noticed in this episode. I'm curious if there's going to be other episodes like this in the future, not just with Jimmy, but like if they're going to kind of rotate which character they don't focus on for the episode. So for example, maybe next week Lois doesn't get as much screen time as Jimmy and Clark, or maybe the week after that, Clark doesn't get much screen time. Sure, we'll probably get Superman, but it'd be kind of interesting if we had an episode with very little focus on Clark, and it really just most of the focus kind of went in on Lois and Jimmy Olsen. Maybe the two of them kind of wondering how Clark is never around when Superman is. In fact, that would actually be kind of something really funny to play with. The two of them investigating Clark without Clark realizing it, leading to the possible conclusion of them finding out that he's Superman, but then right before the big reveal, just something happens, and like all their notes, all the information they had on him just suddenly goes away, and they just decide to give up right before they figured out that he was Superman. If they do an episode like that, I know it's cliche, but it could be pretty funny. Anyways, so again, solid episode. I guess if I were grading it, B, not a B minus, just a solid B. But anyways, at the end of the day, those are just my A+ opinions. We here at A+ opinions always want to know what you guys think, so definitely let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this episode or not. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, but of course, guys, above all, don't forget to keep it A+, and I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.